Good everyone. Yeah, okay, I'm back making part two. I just was reading through something I wrote a few years ago. It's still something that I see like in this place here. Other brothers, we're not all Maori. Some of us are PI, some Pākehā. But majority of us here are Maori. And we are a tikanga based practice. And I hope to work in the field, helping others in recovery in the future. Opening a rehab, and yeah, being that solution to the issues, helping my people, helping people, not just my people but any people who need help, and having lived experience plus my background, I've got a degree in business and I did my masters in social work. I've done some other study, but that was when I came out of meth when I was 25. And I plugged into a church and got a degree, went to Bible college, got a passion for social work, started doing my masters, and then I just burnt out. After 7 years of being clean, I went back to meth and ruined my family, my marriage, and but I learnt a lot from it. And I regret hurting my kids, hurting my family, and I regret burning those people around me. I burnt out and I burnt others. And I regret that, but God's forgiven me for that. I've worked through that stuff, and I'm coming out better, stronger, and even better than before. But yeah, I just want to share some thoughts. This is something I wrote. Here's some issues. So here's some solutions. As a social work role, twin tensions within social work are firstly creating change for individuals, groups, and whānau. And secondly, changing the systems that society operates under. This is a distinguishing feature of social work, also known as micro change and macro change. Social work is not only concerned with helping people, but is also concerned with changing the systems that contribute to harm, disadvantage, and oppression. And I can see myself passionate about both. How I love helping people, and I also like changing systems more at the political level, at legislation and policy levels. So who knows in the future, but I'm just gonna focus on myself, getting myself well, and Ngāki Te Wānanga Solutions, the rehab here, and hopefully taking this to back home to Waitomo and helping others on a large scale. These two tensions may influence social workers to lean towards different areas of work. Some may choose to work in clinical work with clients, providing specialist therapeutic or casework services. This field of work reflects a micro issue based approach to social work, working with individuals, groups, and whānau, helping and supporting them through difficult times. On the other hand, a social worker may choose to facilitate macro change using a community action based approach. The social worker may still work with individuals, groups, or whānau, but their approach is likely to be political, thereby encouraging a community or society to act, therefore bringing change to the system. Social workers engaging in macro system change can influence policy development and research to bring systemic change. Ecological systems theory is known as the foundation of social work practice. Ecological systems theory is a multi-system, so microsystem, mesosystem, exosystem, macrosystem, and chronosystem. Societal analysis that takes practitioners. Oh, sorry, let me restart. Societal analysis that gives practitioners the ability to examine how political and social issues, macrosystems, impact individuals, groups, and whānau. How can social work respond to the different ecological systems in relation to the high incarceration rate of Maori? Is the question. To realize change for Maori, there is a need for intervention by practitioners across the whole ecological system. Maori individuals who are in the justice and correctional system need specialist therapeutic care both for themselves and for their whānau. However, for societal and long-lasting change, there must be intervention from social workers to influence policy development and be the voice for those who do not have one, and for those whom society outcasts and discredits. A Maori social work practice theory that is useful at the macro level is kaupapa Maori theory. Kaupapa Maori theory is a politicizing agent for exposing social and political contradictions and gaining an in-depth understanding of the systems Maori are trapped in. Social workers should react to the systems that are racist, oppressive, and that result in Maori being arrested and locked up. Kaupapa Maori theory is a holistic and useful approach at individual micro level. It takes the emphasis off the colonizers, the Pākehā, oppression, and focuses instead on Maori and their principles and values. It's a strength-based practice. Kaupapa Maori is the way Maori do things. It is the way they interpret knowledge and how they live, without any imposition from any other culture. Social workers who advocate change by implementing Maori theories such as kaupapa Maori theory endeavour to reduce the high incarceration rate of Maori in New Zealand prisons. Adopting Maori theories of practice, tikanga and kaupapa into institutions would bring reform and redress the plight of Maori situation. For example, a kaupapa Maori justice system for Maori. The justice system that currently operates is broken and racist. And if it continues on its current trajectory, more Maori will be arrested and incarcerated. There's a famous quote: the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. The New Zealand justice system is insane. As Maori make up over 50% of prisoners in New Zealand, kaupapa Maori theory should be used by social workers to deal with Maori offenders. Implementing kaupapa Maori theory brings Maori principles, values, and knowledge as best practice to change individuals, whānau, hapu, iwi, and modern Maoridom as a whole. The old way is not working. It is time for a new approach. A Maori approach that addresses issues that affect Maoridom. Narrative approach theory draws on a group of theories which involves an assumption that truth does not exist in an objective form that can be discovered. Instead, it is created by individuals from their own context of life experience. This approach can be extremely useful for working with Indigenous people as it offers the opportunity to retell the stories of colonial oppression. Maori narratives are great promoters of Maori identity and are key factors in the development from te reo Maori, whakapapa, pūkōrero, and paki waitara. These narratives, myths, legends, and proverbs were used to govern and influence Maori in their everyday lives, producing values, principles, and intrinsic practices. These narratives tell of kinship stories and highlight the importance of interconnected social structures of whānau, hapu, and iwi. Having access to the advice of elders and whānau support provide rangatahi with enriching experiences, self-esteem, identity, belonging, and purpose. Colonial narratives tell of the stories of displacement, loss, grief, and oppression. These stories remain relevant to Maori relevant today as Maori continue to be colonized. These stories remain relevant today as Maori continue to be colonized, highlighted in the high incarceration rates and overrepresentation of Maori in the justice system. Narrative theory can develop culturally responsive practice through narratives that contribute to building strong cultural identities and providing a sense of belonging for Maori. Tikanga Maori. With an understanding of pre-colonization Maori life and social structures provide guidelines for a successful approach to working with Maori and their whānau. Tikanga are the principles that guide the traditional social structures and enable interpretation of values and beliefs. Traditionally, there were three main concepts to tikanga: tapu, noa, and mana. Contemporary models of tikanga Māori have been developed, incorporating tapu, noa, and mana, with whakawhanaungatanga, manaakitanga, and aroha. Applying tikanga to practice for Māori clients is vitally important, as is the Māori way of life, and can be implemented in practice at all ecological system levels. Te whare tapawhā is a Māori model of practice that encompasses four key areas to promote complete health and well-being of a person. Te whare tapawhā is based on the four walls of the whare nui. Without one of these walls, the building cannot stand, and that is the same principle for the person. The four dimensions of significance are taha wairua, spirituality, taha hingaro, henenaro, emotional, mental, taha tinana, physical, taha whānau, human relationships and family. For social workers working with Māori, it is key to understand that these four dimensions are vitally important for well-being. Māori will suffer when one dimension is missing. There are many more contemporary Māori theories. There are many more contemporary Māori theories, models of practice and initiatives being produced to improve the skills and practices of social workers. These theories models all have their own core tikanga Māori aspects, such as whakawhanaungatanga, manaakitanga, and wairuatanga, which could simply be opening, closing with a karakia, or the acknowledgement of one's taha wairua. The role of social workers in Māori development is key. When working with Māori to bring change, they need to be journeying towards bicultural practice, practicing Māori theories, approaches and models. Social workers can advocate for Māori and bring systemic change through policy development and research. Tikanga, kaupapa Māori and te reo Māori are key to bring change to Māoridom, thereby giving Māori identity, belonging and purpose. Identity, belonging and purpose are key for Māori to rise above racist systems and colonisation. Social workers have a significant role to play in making these aspirations become reality, ending the racist oppression of the indigenous people of Aotearoa. Through the development and implementation of these cultural practices, the rate of Māori offending and incarceration can be dramatically reduced, along with many of the social issues that hinder these indigenous people. The high incarceration rates are interconnected to all the other social issues that Māori overrepresent in society. To address one issue means addressing all issues. Social workers have a privileged opportunity to impact and bring reform to the plight of Māori people through the implementation of these evidence-based theories, models, and practices. Tihei Mauriora. Okay, so that's something I wrote a few years ago. Some of the statistics have changed, but our Māori still represent over 50% of prisoners. We're still, and I am another one of those statistics. Something I'm passionate about, I want to change, is helping my people, and addressing the racism within institutions, within the dominant culture in New Zealand. So I hope you can bear with me. I hope I don't bore anyone. There's a few technical things in that. But yeah, I'm sure there's some really smart people out there who understood all of it and even has something to add. Got some comments to make about it. I'm not covering all Maori issues. It was based on the high incarceration rates of Maori. So yeah, share your thoughts. Tikanga Maori is vitally important for Maori, but it can be used for any culture too, to help bring healing and change. You're just using the values and principles of Te Reo Tikanga Māori. Um, Even the way things are going in the world today, like things are heating up, Māori are not so backwards people. That look at like even Māori medicine was like witchcraft when early settlers came here. But now kawakawa and all a lot of Maori rongoa are recognised as actually medicines. And early missionaries and Christians thought Maori were worshippers because of the carvings. Like they're making idols, but they're not Maori. I've never seen a Maori worshipping the carvings. They're just their ancestors. They tell a story of their journey here to Aotearoa. Well, it was a mighty journey, and the ships they came in, well before Pākehā. They did that journey all over the seas into these territories, well before European settlers, and it tells of those stories, and some say it even tells of the story of Eo, of God, um, Jesus Christ. Um, but yeah, missionaries did bring that message, and that was important. That we got the truth, because the truth is not a perspective; it's a person. The truth, Jesus is the truth. But I'm not going to. That's another topic. I'm not going to go into that tonight. But be blessed, everyone. Keep at it. Keep going forward. I just want to talk about some of my political views and things I'm passionate about on this forum. But good night, Paul Mardier.